The water had finally started to fall when Chase Landry agreed to speak. After 6 hours in a hospital waiting room, he told investigators what they pulled from the deepest channel of the Atchafalaya at 3:47 that morning wasn't an alligator. It wasn't anything that should exist in Louisiana water, and his father, Troy, might not survive what happened when it reached the surface. The Forbidden Channel, November 19, 2024. The Landry family had hunted alligators in the Atchafalaya Basin for 3 generations, but there was one place even Troy Landry avoided: the deepest channel of Bayou Sorrel. The water there plunged to impossible depths. Currents moved against logic, and swamp men whispered about strange catches and unexplained equipment failure. Troy learned about it as a boy. His grandfather warned him the channel led to underground rivers older than the Mississippi itself. Things lived down there that didn't belong in the world above. For 64 years, Troy listened, until 3 days ago. On November 16th, new commercial-grade sonar showed something impossible beneath Bayou Sorrel. The channel dropped to nearly 40 feet, far deeper than any chart allowed, and at the bottom was a massive biological return. Living. Enormous. Chase saw it too. He called it a malfunction. Nothing that big lived there. But the image didn't disappear. Whatever it was measured at least 30 feet long and was far denser than an alligator. Troy didn't feel fear. He felt opportunity. The catch of a lifetime. Everyone tried to stop him. No one succeeded. Before dawn on November 18th, they returned with industrial winches, heavy steel cable, and offshore hooks. Sonar showed the creature still in the channel's deepest part. They baited the line and dropped it 40 feet into darkness. 23 minutes later, the line went tight, the display climbing past 8,000 pounds. The water vibrated, shaking the hull. Chase begged his father to cut it. Troy refused. At 3:47, the surface erupted. It wasn't a gator or fish. Its elongated body, malformed limbs, light-absorbing scales, and intelligent eyes suggested a deep ocean origin. For 5 seconds, every man screamed. The steel cable snapped. The creature crashed back into the water. Troy struck with a gaff hook. Something sprayed from the wound, hitting his face and chest. The liquid burned through his shirt and blistered his skin instantly. Chase dumped cooler water over him, but the damage was done. His face swelled, breathing became ragged, and pupils dilated erratically. Clear neurological damage. They abandoned the hunt and raced back, calling hospitals while describing symptoms that made no sense. Troy, barely conscious, whispered, "It knew. Not instinct. Intelligence." EMTs called for immediate helicopter transport to Baton Rouge. Chase rode with him as doctors worked frantically. Blood, skin, and clothing samples were rushed to the lab. 3 hours later, toxicology had no answers. The compound wasn't venom or any known toxin. It appeared engineered to attack the human nervous system and break down cells. Dr. Sarah Chen confirmed. Troy had been exposed to a synthetic neurotoxin. Chase's shaky video of the creature convinced her completely. Federal agents arrived hours later, claiming CDC affiliation but showing military and intelligence credentials. They seized Chase's phone and warned against discussing the incident. Troy stabilized but didn't improve. Sedated in intensive care, his brain activity showed patterns no neurologist could explain. The toxin had bonded at a molecular level. Doctors could manage symptoms but not remove it. The unspoken question loomed. Even if Troy survived, would he ever be the same? 3 days later, Chase learned the creature hadn't escaped unscathed. A gaff hook had torn off a chunk of tissue, which Pickle Wheat had stored on ice before federal agents seized it. Dr. Marcus Webb, officially NOAA but tied to defense research, explained the tissue's DNA. It matched no known species and showed horizontal gene transfer, impossible in complex life naturally. Chemical traces matched deep ocean hydrothermal vents, not swamps. The implication was chilling. The creature either evolved along an unknown path or was engineered. Webb suggested Bayou Sorrel's deep channel might breach ancient underground water systems, supporting isolated ecosystems. Locals had avoided it for generations. The toxin could potentially be countered, but creating an antidote required another sample, meaning someone would have to face the creature again. Chase investigated the bayou's history and found a pattern. In 1976, two fishermen hauled up something neither gator nor fish. Both drowned, and one showed traces of the same unknown toxin. Strange catches, mutated fish, turtles, and gators, continued through the late 70s and early 80s. Chase also uncovered the Deep Basin Ecosystem Study, a government project in the area whose unpublished research ended abruptly in 1984. Older Cajuns told darker stories. Underground rivers sometimes breached the surface, bringing creatures that couldn't survive long above water. Baptiste Thibodeau confirmed Bayou Sorel's deep channel was one of those places, and it was getting deeper, a stronger connection. 4 days after Troy's injury, Chase returned alone to observe. Sonar showed the main mass still at the bottom of the 40-foot drop, but now smaller signatures moved in patterns around it. Something had responded. Then he saw it. A smaller creature, 10 feet long, surfaced 50 yards away. It looked directly at him and vocalized, a patterned, deliberate sound, almost like language. Responses echoed around the boat. This was a community, warning him that intrusion would be met with force. Chase left immediately. The Landrys suspended all activity in Bayou Sorrel indefinitely. Publicly, he warned, "My daddy is one of the toughest men I've ever known. But what we brought up from that channel, that's not something we can hunt, not something we should disturb. Anyone who ignores this isn't just risking their life. They're risking things we don't have words for yet." The statement went viral. Federal agents threatened Chase for defying silence orders, but he refused. Troy remained in intensive care, slowly improving but still showing unexplained neurological damage. Dr. Webb returned, offering money, protection, and another chance to obtain samples. Chase refused. "Some things are meant to stay in the deep," he told Webb. "My ancestors knew that. The old Cajuns knew that. We forgot because we got cocky, our sonar, our technology, our pride, but we don't understand it. And what's living down there has been here far longer than us. Best we can do is leave it alone and hope it returns the favor." Even as Troy fought to recover, one thought haunted Chase. How many other deep channels exist, connected to underground waters where life evolved in darkness and pressure? How long before someone else's curiosity triggers encounters far worse than Bayou Sorrel? Troy Landry faced 1,000-pound gators without fear. What his son pulled from Bayou Sorrel's deepest channel wasn't an alligator. It was intelligent, dangerous, territorial, and finally, it was defending its home. Chase spoke publicly because silence would only put more hunters at risk. Some depths are forbidden for a reason. If you enjoy classic Hollywood stories, timeless glamour, and legendary stars, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share your favorite old Hollywood icon in the comments, or tell us who you'd love to see featured next. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new deep dive into Hollywood's golden age.